made you say, yep, I'm gonna die? I was a night shift nurse at a small rural hospital. Just me and one other nurse for the entire floor. Around 2 a.m., a patient in room 4 started repeatedly pressing their call button. When I went to check, the elderly man seemed confused, insisting someone was in his bathroom. I checked. Nothing there. I reassured him and went back to the nurse's station, mentally adding hallucinations to my bingo card of night shift weirdness. 20 minutes later, his button lit up again. This time he was agitated, claiming someone had been standing at the foot of his bed, then disappeared when he turned on his light. I did a thorough check of his room, under the bed, in the closet, behind the curtains. Nothing. I chalked it up to medication side effects and told him I'd check on him every 30 minutes. When I returned, he was sleeping peacefully. Crisis averted, or so I thought. Around 4 a.m., I was updating charts when the power suddenly went out. Emergency lights kicked on, but the phone lines were dead. My colleague went to check the backup generator while I did a quick patient round. When I reached room 4, the door was closed, which was strange because we always leave them open. I pushed it open to find the elderly patient still asleep, but something felt off. The bathroom door was now closed, and I distinctly remembered leaving it open. As I approached to check on him, I noticed dark footprints on the floor leading to the bathroom. I froze. Those weren't there before. I quietly backed toward the door when the patient suddenly woke up. "He's still here," he whispered, eyes wide with terror. At that exact moment, the bathroom door slowly began to open. I lunged for the hallway door, but it slammed shut. When I turned around, a man in hospital pajamas stood there, grinning wildly with a plastic spoon in his hand that he'd somehow sharpened to a point. "Hello, nurse," he said cheerfully. "I'm your 3 a.m. appointment for a Bryini transplant." I recognized him immediately. Lobotomy Larry, a patient from our psychiatric ward who'd escaped 3 times before. He was convinced he was a neurosurgeon who needed to fix everyone's broken brains. He lunged toward me, waving his spoon shiv while making buzzing noises like an imaginary bone saw. I grabbed the emergency call button, but when I pressed it, he just laughed. "I disconnected all the buttons," he announced proudly, "and I put pudding in the backup generator." That's when I saw what was clipped to his waistband. A hospital ID badge that read, "Chief of Neurosurgery," with his face poorly glued over the real doctor's photo. The police later found my colleague duct-taped to a wheelchair with a paper cone on her head, labeled, "Dunce Cap for Broken Brains." I still have nightmares about his voice whispering, "Time for your brain transplant."